next guest is going to be George Metz. George is the owner and operator of GMetz Moving Storage. So today we're going to kind of bridge what we were just talking about with Ted in our last segment. We talked a little bit about use and occupancy agreements and, you know, what to do in the event that we get to the closing table, and whether it's the seller who can't get into their new property yet, has to stay in the property that they formerly occupied for, you know, a week or two, or a buyer needs to, you know, they need to be able to move in quickly. You know, what can these people do in these options, you know, as far as storage is concerned? What can they do? You know, how can they rely on GMetz to kind of have them covered when they might not necessarily have full use of their property, whether it's the one that they're into or the one that they just recently sold?
Correct. So we have recently actually just dealt with a very similar situation. We had a client that was living in the Scituate area, building a new home. Their home was under contract. They ended up renting back the property for, I think it was on a month-to-month agreement. And what we ended up doing was we assisted the current resident of the home, that was the seller that had to move out because of new people moving in. But again, they did have a rental agreement in place. But what they ended up doing was they were not allowed to use the garage, the basement, and then certain, you know, outside buildings, so sheds in certain areas of the home. The new buyers wanted to come in and start remodeling or painting and freshening up. So there was some logistical issues that they had to worry about. But for us, we came in, we emptied the garage, we emptied the basement, we emptied the shed. We emptied the rooms that the new homeowners wanted to stop painting and prepping. So we stored, I would say, about 75% of that seller's property with us for just under 3 weeks, just about 3 weeks. And we stored those belongings with us at our secure storage location. And then the remaining items stayed in the home. So on moving day, instead of showing up in Scituate between 8 and 9 in the morning, we didn't get out there until about 11 or 12 because we loaded 75% of what we had on the truck first, then went out to the current home that they were living in that they had sold, you know, 3-4 weeks ago, loaded up the remainder of it, and then delivered it all to the new home all at once. That was just one of the options that worked for them, but every case is different. You know, we talk about this all the time. You know, what does an average 3-bedroom house cost to move? Well, there is no average 3-bedroom home. So everybody is different, right? So every moving job is different. For this client, that worked out great. For other clients, you know, they're still utilizing the whole home. Some will just stay in it right until moving day and have us come in and move it all out, where it depends on the arrangement and it depends on how flexible the client needs to be, will be how flexible we will return on our side to make sure that their moving is accounted for on time, at the right budget, and they understand what they're getting into, and we understand what we're getting into early enough in the process to make sure it's a smooth transition on the moving side. So the sooner we know, the more options we can start giving our clients, that even if it's hey, this might happen, just let us know, because then we could say, okay, well, these would be our 6 different options for your one situation. And the next client that calls with a very similar situation may only have 3 options compared to that 6. So every case is a little bit different, but it's truly on the customer's needs.